pretty much. So the same is expected this week.
Is this a week that Morgan Fox might have a chance to get elevated because of the Bosa injury?
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Take it one day at a time here.
Sean, with all the different pieces you've had rotating around in the coverage group this year, you're first in yards per game allowed in terms of passing. What has been the connective tissue or the thing that's developed among that group that's really brought together the last few weeks?
Well, I believe the coaches have done a great job. Their development of some of those players back there. We've got a couple of young guys, Cole, Max back there. We were a little bit banged up earlier in the year there with Max being out. So, that his development's been big for us. Trey as well is mixed in. And again, just the players' commitment to improving, getting on the same page with how our coverages work. Like I've said before, it's never one player, never one position. It's really all 11 guys playing together. And, I think that's some of what you're seeing now.
What have you seen in that Bengals offense since Burrow came back?
Yeah. different team, different offense. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the league for good reason. They have weapons outside and inside. So I think Coach Taylor does a really good job of play calling, scheming, and putting his players in position to make plays, and they're special. The rapport that's been built up over the years with the quarterback and the receiving core is it operates at a high level. So it's impressive.
John, you guys are number one in the league in rushing. What stands out to you in that regard, aside from James Cook being really good?
Again, I give credit where credit's due. Joe calling the plays at the right time, Cromer putting it together, putting the run plan together, and then the players executing, being on the same page, and that's critical. It sounds easy, but when you talk about the run game, and sometimes when people think execution, they think of the pass game. But just as important as execution in the run game and that understanding of where everyone's supposed to be, and the landmark of the back, and so on certain runs in particular. So, and it's been by committee. I mean, you saw Ray get involved this past week as well, and that was great to see. So, yeah, I mean, I couldn't be happier in terms of the way we ran the ball last week.
Sean, just continue with the running backs over the last month or so. They've become a lot more involved in the pass game. Can you just tell us a little bit about the evolution of the offense and what the dimension that brings and what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting everybody involved. It's Josh taking what the defense gives him as well, from using check downs to flares out of the backfield to other styles of pass, of the passing game that we use. And again, it's been well put together by Joe, and everybody's been involved. In this case, getting the backs involved and making sure that people have to address where they're at coming out of the backfield at times. And again, it's just kind of the rhythm of the offense, and I think it's healthy for us. I really do.
What's it say though about your running game when you can run the same two plays pretty much over and over again, knowing that they've got even in the box and prepared for it, and you're still getting 5-10-yard gains on it?
Yeah, no, it's good. Fullback dive is my favorite run. So if we could get that going as over and over and over again, I think that would make life a whole lot easier for me, selfishly speaking. No, you don't always have that. This is the NFL. People adjust. So we got to get back at it this week. That's the truth of the matter. And this is going to be a big challenge for our football team. This is a really good football team coming in here.
James Cook coming off a career high in carries. So I don't know if that's a number you constantly want to hit week in and week out, but Ray Davis was able to come in and make some big plays. How important is it long term to have somebody be able to come in and spell Cook?
No, it's big. I mean, James's energy this past week in particular stood out. I mean, he was on fire. He was in the right headspace and he was rolling. Not that he hasn't been, but it just really, to me, when I reflect back on the game, and of course we got to look forward right now, but that's where we got to go. I mean, James is our number one back, but to have, to your point, whether it's Ty or Ray or anybody else for that matter, step in and spell him the way that those two have, in particular of late, is huge for us and something that we have to make sure we continue as we move forward here.
Hey, Sean, with Matt being your kicker now moving forward, any concern in the late season here with the wind, the cold? You know, he's 41, been great. Is there a concern with leg strength in this atmosphere in December, January?
Yeah. I'm 51, so it's maybe I should be concerned about,
But you're not kicking field.
yeah, thankfully. He's a veteran. He's a veteran player. He's been around. There's a lot of experience in Matt Prater, and whether it's inside, outside, I mean, that's been fun to watch, is the amount of wisdom that he's been able to share with our team, with the special teams group as well, specifically. And he's an extremely confident player due to that experience, but also the way he prepares. And that's been really, really neat to watch.
Sean, you talked about consistency and consistent approach in the last 6 games. It's been win-loss, win-loss. How do you maybe tweak that a little bit while staying consistent in your approach, but identifying ways to be better after wins?
Yeah, I don't think we can afford to be inconsistent. Not now. Not that you can ever be, don't get me wrong, but our backs are against the wall. That's the way it is, and that's our mindset. So, I think we're all aware of, some of that that you discussed, but there's no time for that right now. So we got to go.
Sean, you mentioned Burrow. You're the other great quarterbacks from Mahomes and Lamar. You've seen it a bunch. You've only had 2 full games against him. What is it about him when you think of that player that makes him the special player that he's been?
Usually when they're a special player, there's not just one thing. So there's I would say just, he knows pretty much what you're doing. It appears, and from what I hear, he's very much in the process of preparing, and he's a hard guy to fool in terms of, back end disguises, all that type of stuff. So, and usually the good ones are, and he's a heck of a competitor, and he's got incredible arm talent, and he can extend plays. So if you just start with 3 or 4 of those traits, it makes it very hard to defend.
Sean, when I talked to Joe Brady on Monday, he was saying with Brandon Cooks how, he had more calls for him and he was able to get to in the game and just he can get more involved, and he's been good for this room so far. Just what have you seen out of Cooks, and how can you guys continue to use him?
Yeah, true pro. And I think it says a lot about Brandon when the ball finds him early in that game, right? I believe it was the first or second, third down. And you could hear the sideline erupt just from a standpoint of guys are happy for him, and he's right away was integrated into the plan. And also Josh trusts him, early in the game, he finds them and they make that connection. So, the ball is going to find the open receiver, the open player. And, to this point, Brandon's been a great addition, true pro. And hopefully he feels the same about us, in terms of coming here. So it's been a joy to be around him.
Hey, Sean, with Palmer in practice on Friday last week, was there kind of a setback at some point over the weekend?
It's a good question. I don't know if it's been a setback as much as just overall. He's not in the best place right now, just in terms of his body and the injuries he was dealing with. He's still dealing with them. So, we'll just have to see how it goes through the week here. But we've had good communication around his situation and with him specifically. And, the key is that he continues to get himself healthy here one day at a time.
Have you done anything from Nate or his staff about where Joey's at? Is it something you're looking at as a day-to-day type of hamstring injury or more long-term?
From what I'm being told, we're thinking a week-to-week type of deal, but that can be perceived one of 2 ways. A week-to-week, is it 1 week, or is it like week-to-week as in 4 or 5 weeks? So we're hoping on the shorter end of it. Joey's intent on getting back as soon as he can. You know, he loves to play ball, and so you saw his impact last week there. So
Sean, Christian Benford, just
Yeah.
What have you seen from him, especially in these last couple of games?
yeah, you know, I mentioned this earlier a few weeks ago. I think it was when you match. You know, and we match at times with CB. It's new for corners who are in their, you know, who are developing, and we matched a little bit with them last year, but even more so this year, and that takes some time to adjust to. And you know, he just continues to grow, continues to develop, and that's a credit to him and Jamal and Joe and everybody involved in coaching the secondary as well as Bobby. So you know, I think to be continued in that regard in terms of what you know, and how he develops here for us as we move forward.
Yeah, if I may just one, update on Ed Oliver, we're seeing him on social media lifting his kid, and, just, is he getting close? It looks like he's getting closer to coming back.
You know, again, we'll see. I don't, for some of these guys that it takes the windows a little bit further out, I don't get a whole lot of, you know, week to week updates. It is good to have them around, but I think we got a ways to go yet with that. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.